And of course to the team of Park in our competition. So warm welcome to, first of all, Colin Morgan, the actor. And to Dominic Wright, the producer of the film. So, it's a film from Ireland, of course, and we will talk about this film and the story and the director, who's absent. But first of all, we start with you, Colin. I'm quite sure everyone here knows already, but I don't. So, who are you?
I'm an actor in this film, and
I know.
Yes. Well, I guess I should maybe say how.
Tell us a little bit about you, yeah.
About me.
Since long have you been an actor? When did you start?
Okay.
And for me, why do they all know you?
Oh, okay. I grew up in Northern Ireland, and in Northern Ireland, there's not a lot of chances to be an actor. If you want to be an actor, you have to work hard to do that. And so I did drama at school. I did it at several courses in Belfast in Northern Ireland. Then I ended up going to Scotland to train at drama school there. And I got my first professional debut in the West End Theatre in London. Before some filming jobs came along, one that I've been doing for 4 years now, and yes, I'm getting the opportunity to do projects like this in between is really special because it is special, and you are lucky to be involved and lucky to get the opportunity. So I'm constantly thankful for that.
How would you call a film like Parked? Is it an independent film as well for Irish opportunities and compared to other Irish films?
Yeah, I mean it's an independent feature. It's something that I think it needs a lot of hard work to get it off the ground. I mean that's something Dominic maybe could say more about.
Yeah, I mean Parked is, of course, he's very sorry he can't be here today, Daraban. But it's a film we're very, very proud of, and we're of course very, very proud of Colin's performance in the movie, which is very different to the role he plays in Merlin. I'm sure you'll all agree. And I would also say that we, in looking for the actor to play Cahill, we were looking for a very strong actor, and we saw every Irish actor in Ireland and more in the UK, and Colin, the moment he came in and auditioned, we knew we had our man. And
thanks for getting me. Appreciate it.
What was it what particularly thrilled you to do this role, Colin?
The challenge. I think when the role I want to play in any script is the one that I think, how on earth am I going to do that? So as soon as I read a part and I think this is going to be hard, that's what I want to do. And making bold decisions, knowing that it's not going to be an easy journey, but that if you work hard and you go through it, it's going to be rewarding.
When you started wanting to become an actor, did you have any ideas what kind of roles you'd like to play?
No, I just wanted to act. I just wanted to be an actor. Obviously, there's a lot of favourite films and a lot of actors that you admire, but for me it was a natural instinct to perform. Right from I could speak, I was wanting to do things like that and to perform. So I can't really say there was one thing that made me go, that's the moment where I said yes, I wanted to be an actor, because it's all I can ever remember wanting to do.
And your director, I don't know how to speak it right, but I tried, Daraban.
Yes.
Daraban, okay. Can you tell us a little bit about him, because it's his first feature. We are not able to know anything what he did before, but I guess he did maybe short films or...
Well, Dara is a very experienced documentary director, and Parked is a story that we talked about for quite a long time, and it was a story that he was very, very keen to tell, and could have told as a documentary. There are plenty of stories like that about people who are forced to live in their cars. There are plenty of stories about people who struggle with a life of drug addiction. And we felt very strongly that putting these two characters together, both of whom are in a way parked and outside all of our lives, was a very strong way to tell the story. And that's how we started working on the script. So it is Dara's first feature film, but he brings to the table a great sense of naturalism, which he definitely brings to the movie.
You have another actor here we all know, it's Colin. At least we know from Star Trek, but as well we could know him from some films from Stephen Frears, for example, and so on. How was it easy to get a very well-known, internationally known actor like him to an independent feature from first-timer?
It's never easy, but the material was strong, and you know, I don't know how many of you know Colin Meaney's work, but one of the things we felt very strongly about the character of Fred is that he has to be a character who is someone you immediately feel comfortable with. He's lovable, you know him, and he's got real warmth and heart. And Colin Meaney has that. And at the same time, in all the movies, and certainly in Star Trek, in the material that Colin Meaney has done, he plays a very different character. He kind of plays it as a joke and as a laugh. And again, in this role, we offered him the opportunity to play something with great sincerity. And he read the material. He really liked the script. The next thing we did was Dara Byrne went down to Mallorca to see him. He lives there for part of the year, and they talked for 2 days and connected. And Colin wanted to do it, so that was it.
What have you done as a producer before? Are there some films we should know?
Well,
of course.
You should know all of them, but you probably don't. This is the trouble with this business. You know, you make a lot of films. Some of the most better known. I made a film called "Song for a Raggy Boy," which was about Catholic priests abusing boys in industrial schools in Ireland. It was very successful in Ireland. It was quite successful internationally. That's just one film. I mean, I've made about 10 films, maybe more, and some TV series. One of the most recent commercial successes was a film called Lapland Odyssey, which is a Finnish movie that grossed something like 4 million euros in Finland, which is an awful lot.
But it's surprising for us. We select films for years, and as far as I remember, in the last years there haven't been any Irish films which we considered, unfortunately. Maybe Big Fort, of course. We do an Irish special section next year, but this time we have 2 films. So how comes? And it's the time we have the big crisis, and Ireland is one of the countries a bit shattered by the crisis. So how does it work? Maybe a crisis is good for cinema. Maybe no one cares, and you're allowed to do anything you want.
Crisis is always good for cinema. Economic, you know, when things are bad economically, people like to go to the movies. They like to hear new stories. They like to. I think in Ireland we are learning to develop better material more than anything else. We're a small country. It's 4.5 million people. We're completely dominated by US cinema, and we struggle against US cinema. And the way we're going to win that battle is to make better movies, and that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, you will definitely win, I think, with this movie. So, the hour has come. If you want, you can ask some questions or give comments, whatever. Maybe something about this film as well. We have a microphone. So I need your hands. Ja, da hinten. It's hard to see, but we'll manage.
Hi, I have actually two questions, one from a fellow back here. First one to Colin, whether it was very difficult for you to speak the Dublin accent.
It's a matter of for an accent. I think it's important to get the attitude of the character first, and the accent should come later. It was getting the attitude of the the Dubliner, which was the main thing. And I find that once you've sorted into that, once you've cracked what that is, then work on the technical aspects after that. So once I got the character down, it kind of happened. And also I had a dialect coach come in as well and help me out, which was brilliant. So yeah, a lot of help on the way as well.
And the second question, did you do it on purpose? That you mean like Fred and Ken, they look so nice and they're like homeless guys, so was it like, did you do it on purpose?
How do you mean, sorry, that they look so nice?
I think she means that they're just well dressed for homeless guys. For example, we go to university here, and a lot of homeless guys, they just stay down at the library because it's warm there, and they're not as nicely dressed as.
Well, in the case of Fred, it's integral to his character that he's a very proud man, and you know it's central to him that he doesn't really want to admit to anyone, even to himself, that he is homeless. So he struggles hard and works hard to maintain his appearance. And actually very subtly throughout the movie, he even improves his appearance. You know, when he meets Jules and he begins to make a connection with her, and when the character of Cahill has encouraged him to be more active in life, he actually he starts wearing a tie and he starts to improve his appearance. I think Cal's character goes in the opposite direction.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. I don't think in the film that either character refers to themselves as homeless. I don't think they admit to it, or so. I also think my character cares a bit about how he looks, so that he thinks about that, you know. But I think that when you see homeless people on the street, something has happened over years to get to that point, and it's quite a recent thing for these characters. And maybe if they didn't meet, they would be that, you know, like you're saying, on the streets now.
And it's a good observation, because one of the points about the film is that there are plenty of people that you meet who may well be homeless, that you do not know are homeless. You know, none of us are very far away from being in this situation, especially in times of economic crisis. And it's one of the reasons we wanted to tell this story.
Okay. Hier vorne.
Hi, as someone who has lived in Ireland and in Dublin, I loved how you integrated the city into the movie, and I just wanted to ask how important the locations are for performance and for the movie as well.
Yeah, I mean, being in the car park we were there for the first week of filming completely. We did all the scenes in the car park to begin with. So that was that give you a feel. We practically did live in that car park, so we were all parked there, and we literally went through the 4 seasons on, you know, but in a really interesting way that worked with the script. So, sorry, this is getting off the location, but the weather when it was really bad, it was in the sort of harrowing scenes, and when the weather was really good, it was when things were getting great. So the weather was on our side. Dublin was loving us, and but also the two towers that you see in the film are a real landmark. They appear in the background a lot of shots. In fact, when you're in Dublin, as you may know, you can see them from a lot of different points. So you're never really unsure of where they are location, and I think it's hugely important, particularly Dublin being so characteristic.
Yeah, and I think as well, because the character of Fred has returned home to Dublin, which of course is no longer his home, it was very important that those scenes where actually you're just seeing him walk around the town and be in this city which is no longer his anymore. He came from there a long time ago, he's been away for many, many years, and now he's come back to somewhere which he doesn't really belong in anymore. And it was important that we got to know the city a little bit.
Have you two ever been in a situation a bit similar to the characters in the film? Homeless, at least for one night?
I'm sure I've spent at least one night in my car, but not, for different reasons.
No comment.
Okay, no comment. So, I'm quite sure you have... Yeah, please. Da vorne, zweite Reihe. Genau.
Oh, this question is for Colin. What kind of research did you put into to get the mannerisms for the drug addict? Because that was kind of scary sometimes how good you were at that. So I just wondered what your research you did for that.
I read a lot. I read as much as I can for anything. So that's first-hand accounts of people who have went through the exact same situation. Relatives of people who have observed people going through those situations. So it's interesting to know what the internal stuff is and then what people are perceiving. So you don't just see the movement, there's a reason for it. Because you watch things in films and you see people doing these weird these reactions and it doesn't have a basis. So it's always important to know where it's come from. So I did a lot of that. Dara and myself went to a drugs rehabilitation centre in Dublin and chatted to some guys there who showed me how to shoot up and how to do everything genuinely, as well as a lot of stories. So it was all based in reality and what is actually happening on the doorstep in Dublin and probably in every city across the world. So opened my eyes.
Can you, one question, can you all understand it properly when he's talking? Because I'm just, ich habe gerade ein Zeichen gekriegt, dass man das vielleicht etwas lauter machen muss, nur darum. Okay, sorry. It's just fun. Sound technique. Okay, next question please. We have a lot of time, if you want. Remark, please. Die hinten sind, die müssen wirklich so ein bisschen winken, sonst sehe ich es nicht.
I was wondering how long did it take to film the movie and the after production?
It was 21 days, which is quick. Yeah. No, I mean, and it was possible to make it in 21 days because there's a lot of handheld camera. We had very controlled locations, a very tight script, very fine actors, and a director who, with his documentary background, didn't want to spend a lot of time laying tracks and constructing complicated shots. What he was much more concerned about, and what we were much more concerned about, was that the performances would be authentic, that the research was done, that the emotions would be real. John Conroy is the director of photography, and we shot the film using the Red 1 camera, which is, if anyone's worked with it, it's a fairly heavy camera. So when you want to do a lot of handheld work, which of course is, it's better for a 21-day schedule, and it's exactly what we wanted for the movie. John Conroy, fortunately, who is the director of photography, is a very, very big guy, a very, very strong tower of a man, and in horizontal wind and rain in -5 degrees for 12 hours a day, he did it.
Yeah, no, I completely reiterate what you said, because he was amazing. I don't know I don't know how he stood there like a tower of strength throughout the whole, because some of those days were intense.
Okay, next question, please. No?
Is the question
Yeah.
to be about Bart?
No?
I have a general.
Yeah, please. About microphone, please. Microphone.
It's related to Merlin. In Merlin, a lot of it's about fate and destiny. Do you believe in fate and destiny?
I guess, yeah. I mean, it's you know, there's a path, but I believe you make your own luck and you make your own path, because if you fall into the trap of believing that there's a destiny and it's going to happen, you know, you don't get jobs by sitting on, you know. So it's like, it's.
So you don't think it was destiny that you got the father Merlin?
I worked for it, yeah. I mean, like certainly luck's involved. Things come along that I happened to finish a play in the West End when I was auditioning, that the timings worked out. You could call that, you know, I don't know if you wanted to call that destiny or you want to call that fate. But at the end of the day, you know, I for every 20 things you audition for, you might get one. You might, if you're lucky. But you got to put the work in for all 20 of those. So yeah, I mean, it's about the work and yeah, lots of fingers crossing as well.
Okay. Dahinter? Oder genau, also erst Sie, dann Mr. Celtic.
Back to Bart, how about poetry? Because I think I was quite impressed with the amount of poetry you managed to put into the movie about, you know, the image of the falling leaf, echoing how at the end Fred jumped off into the pool and turning the image of death into life, and about poetry, if you comment on it.
Yeah, and the use of the Dante's Inferno lines as well. Yeah, I mean, Dara was very keen. This was really to do with working from the character of Fred, because Fred, you know, is a guy with wide interests, and you know, he's always writing in his notebook, and so we were, in the original scripts, there were a lot more phrases that Fred used and lines that Fred quoted, and discussions even that the characters of Fred and Cal had together, you know, about elements of poetry, and we just looked very hard at the script during the development process and held on to what we hope, of course, are the best lines. And I happen to completely love the falling leaf in the film, and it's one of those moments where that moment in a way is about the way in which Fred realizes that this guy sees beauty in the world where he's forgotten how to see that beauty, and it's a fantastic thing.
Okay, du?
Yeah, yeah.
Kannst auch auf Deutsch fragen, wenn du willst.
I forgot my question.
Dann kommst du später nochmal rein. Sie können auch auf Deutsch fragen. Da hinten, die beiden Damen am Rand.
Wer möchte?
Und ein bisschen kurz, sonst müssen wir nämlich hier irgendwann Schluss machen und nicht mehr alle kommen ran.
I don't have a question,
okay.
I just have
So,
a comment. I just want
please.
to say, the few of us here are Irish, and I just wanted to say that it was really cool to see an Irish movie in a film festival in Germany, and I just want to really congratulate you on how realistic the whole thing was, and it had us all crying at the end, and it was really moving and really well done. And
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Just about the depiction of the Irish social welfare system and the fact that you pointed out how, for instance, travellers can get benefits whereas people living in cars can't. I was wondering for you, was it anyway politically motivated, the movie, or was it a story just about two people?
It's certainly a story partly about the social issues. That's just a fact of the way things are. It's a movie about social injustice and sometimes the accident of social injustice. It's not politically motivated. It's much more. I think what we were really aiming at is trying to allow audiences into the world of these characters who are just sort of they're special in their own way, and trying to say something about how it almost doesn't matter what your situation is. It's important that we recognise the humanity in people, and in a way, it's saying sometimes the system doesn't. You know, and it's a small part of the thing, but we're not politically driven with the film. We're much more concerned to engage people emotionally in the lives of these characters and the humanity of these characters. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the politics is what has caused it to happen in the first place, but it's a human story, and that's hopefully what you take away from it in the end. And obviously the situation that they're in the first place is what's driven it. So hopefully by the end you feel hope as opposed to oi welfare system, you know.
But I would also add though, it's a good point because the writer actually. He's a playwright, but he also works and has worked for quite a long time in the public sector, so he knows an awful lot about the system. I think he worked as a tax inspector for a while, so he's witnessed social injustice at first hand often.
Okay. Ja, noch 1, 2, 3 Fragen hier vorne. Und wir müssen nämlich dann Schluss machen, weil das nächste Filmgespräch kommt. There will be the next film talk in some minutes, so 3 questions. This is number 1.
Okay, me again. I just wanted to ask if you could talk about working with Colin a little bit, because in the movie you had brilliant chemistry, and obviously you were both brilliant, and yeah.
Well, I grew up with films like The Snapper and The Van and The Commitments, which are great Irish films which Colin is in, and so I knew of him greatly. When I was on set with him for the first day, it was fantastic because he is such a titan actor of, you know, that I'd known so much about. But I think what maybe worked, because we didn't rehearse a lot. You know, maybe there were a couple of scenes where we ran lines between each other, and then we maybe did 1 or 2 takes. But I think we've both done our work. So you've got 2 very different Flints working on their own piece, and then when they come together, they spark in a unique way. And I think that's maybe what happened. Plus, we actually got on really well just as people, so it really helps that when you do something really intense, you can let go of it afterwards as well.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Mister, möchtest du noch was fragen oder vergessen? Schade. Okay, one more. Okay, yeah, 1, 2. Da hinten dann.
What I really liked the movie, this is the second time that I've seen the movie. I saw it first in San Francisco, and so what I liked about the movie is the music, especially Jules' theme, and it really was melancholic and hopeful, and it kind of really set the mood of the movie. And that was in contrast to the music played for Carl, like the heavy metal when his door was opened, and so I didn't really know what to expect when you got up in church. And I was trying to remember, like, did you help to write that song? Fred is a kung fu fighter.
Yeah, I wrote that song because we had a song in the script. It was I can't remember which song it was. We threw it away.
We got rid of that.
Got rid of the song, and so at lunchtime I knew that scene was coming up, so I wrote a silly song at lunchtime, and I thought, if they ask me to do a song, because I think it would work, I'll pull this out of the bag. So
Fantastic.
So I just did it on the first take, and I said, Dara was like, "What are you going to do?" I was like, "Just film it and just watch."